We've got a lot of action figure news to cover in this video. Some of it I'm a little bit late to, so pre-orders have kind of ended for that. They may come back later on. So things that kind of happened so far, I mean, I can't cover everything, but we've got the Tamashii Nations World Tour that happened on the weekend just gone. It's been a bank holiday here, so it feels like, yeah, it's still a weekend. It's not now. I'm going to have to go to work tomorrow. But yeah, it was in New York. I didn't go to that because flight costs are a little bit expensive, but there is a Paris version, so I might try and take the Eurostar there once the Paris dates have been kind of announced. But things that happened last week as well include the S.H.Figuarts pre-order of the Berserk line. So that includes Guts and Griffith, and that's kind of a specific armor set that those guys are wearing. I'm a little bit new to Berserk. I haven't really got too far within the story, but I know how pivotal and inspirational it has been for a lot of kind of stories since that thing originally came out many, many years ago. The figures look, well, as you'd expect, they look flipping amazing. Guts himself looks really good in that Berserker armor. The sword itself, the Iconiq sword, looks really great as well. Details on it look super good. They did actually have the figure of Guts and I believe Griffith on display at the New York pop-up as well, and it looks pretty good. Some of the kind of articulation at the elbow looks a little bit too evident, like it's too obvious at the moment, but yeah, I kind of have to see a little bit more of this figure. Promo shots, by the way, do look pretty great for both Griffith and Guts, so I don't think it'll be too bad in person. I think it's going to be pretty amazing to get them in hand. I sadly only managed to get pre-orders in for Griffith. Guts I missed. I've got alerts set up for that, so if I do see it, I will pre-order it. There are some places that do have it on pre-order for above retail price now, which I don't think I need to do that. I think I can probably wait, and once these figures actually do come out, I'll put it on screen when they do actually release. I forgot them off by heart, but I think I'll be okay for retail price once they do actually release. The S.H.Figuarts haven't been super hard to get these days, unless it's event exclusive. But actually, speaking of event exclusives, there are a number of event exclusives for this Tamashii Nations 15th Anniversary World Tour, and that's stuff like the SpiderMan Miles Morales Across the Spider-Verse of Miles Morales Spider-Man, as well as Gwen. Packaging is slightly different, and you get a unique kind of base stand with it. You've got a Goku figure, which kind of has translucent Super Saiyan hair. His battle damage Goku. So it's similar to what has been released before, but slightly different paint job on it. You got some Saint Seiya thing, a Gundam thing, I think 2 Gundam things. I think that covers the majority of the main things for the event exclusive. They look pretty good. I do have the Spider-Man Miles Morales or Across the Spider-Verse figures on pre-order. So while I kind of do like the exclusive stand and the slip cover, I think it looks pretty cool. I'll be fine. I don't really need that in my life. I don't need to go out of my way for it. So I'll be satisfied with the 2 figures when they come out later on this year as well. I do kind of want that Goku though, because that hair sculpt is quite different, right? So I kind of do want that one. I might have to go on eBay to get it, but we shall see. In other S.H.Figuarts news, they also have announced the Green Goblin from Spider-Man No Way Home, and that looks actually pretty good. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Sam Raimi's movies, and therefore I'm not also a big fan of this thing as well with Willem Dafoe. Like, I know there are a lot of fans of it, but it wasn't really for me growing up. That wasn't really something I enjoyed so much. I appreciate what it's done for superhero movies back then, and for Spider-Man movies wasn't for me, but the figure looks pretty solid. Really like the kind of the vibrant green of the Green Goblin suit on there. The thing I didn't like about that Green Goblin so far in the promo shots is I think the hoodie should have just been fabric rather than being hard plastic or soft plastic. It just seems like an easy thing that they could have done. But otherwise, the figure does look pretty solid. It is a little bit expensive. I think it's around 13,000 yen. Don't quote me on that. I don't have it on screen in front of me right now. But it is quite expensive, though I believe it also comes with the glider. But like I said, it looks like a really good looking figure. Probably is going to be quite fun to play around with as well. I'm leaning towards not getting it because I just want to use that money to other things. And, you spend so much money on figures and toys, things add up super quick, plus the kind of physical space that these things do take up as well. So sadly, looks good, but I'm going to kind of lean towards not getting it at this stage. My mind could change anytime. My mind could change. So for now, not planning to get that one. Moving on to something else I probably won't get, even though I think it looks very cool, is the Metal Cooler. That figure looks so good. It's so different, and it just looks so good. I just think it looks incredibly eye-catching, so I really want it. I really want it, but I'm leaning towards not getting it and trying to behave myself and tighten that purse string and just, save some money and put it to something I really would have that I have a connection with, and therefore I'll enjoy a little bit more. I still am kind of umming and ahhing over it because it just looks really solid, like the full kind of metal look to it. I don't know if it's die cast. I don't think it is, but it just looks absolutely awesome. So I'm super tempted by it. I'm not a huge Cooler fan. I think it's okay. I mean, it was in the movies and it's kind of like whatever, fine. But I think that looks like a really solid figure. So Dragon Ball fans, big Dragon Ball fans or big Cooler fans out there, I think this is definitely going to be something that they'll be interested in. Probably should pick up. It does look like a fantastic figure. But yeah, for now, I'm leaning towards not getting it. But yeah, don't blame me if I change my mind. Sticking with S.H.Figuarts, we now go on to the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 double pack, which is going to be of StarLord and Rocket Raccoon. Now, these aren't ready for me. I'm not going to pre-order these. I've kind of gone a little bit away from the actor likeness sort of things, but more importantly, I'm not really that into Guardians of the Galaxy. Enjoyable movies, but still not really something that I'm a huge fan of to get the figures. They still look pretty decent, not too bad. I'm not a huge fan of the outfits myself, but if you did miss the Volume 1 and Volume 2 figures, or you just want to keep collecting the Guardians of the Galaxy figures by S.H.Figuarts, then this doesn't seem like a bad deal. You're going to get two figures, right? You'll get Peter Quill and you'll get Rocket Raccoon as well. Rocket Raccoon, I think he's only ever had 2, maybe 3 figures in the SHF line. So that's really a cool one for you guys. I'm not sure how many accessories this one comes with. Probably not too much. It does cost around 12,000 yen for the pair of them, which isn't too bad again. And the pair released in September of this year. And the last 2 SHF figures that I want to cover are going to be the Android 20 from Dragon Ball Z and the SpiderMan Across the Spider-Verse SpiderMan 2099 of Miguel O'Hara. So that's actually SpiderMan 2099. There are, of course, many other SHF figures to talk about, but these 2 are kind of what I want to wrap this section up with. So the SpiderMan 2099 one from Across the Spider-Verse is a bit of a mouthful. Looks pretty good. I like the kind of stature of this figure. Based on the movie, he's a bit top heavy. Kind of gives it that a slightly menacing look to it. At least in the trailers, he looks pretty menacing. Very excited for that movie. Super hyped to see it. But that figure looks pretty awesome as well. It is pretty plain. I don't think it's a final product on display, so there's no kind of like detailed painting on it, but the colors look pretty solid on the blue. I mean, they say it's a black suit, right? But it always looks blue. And then the iconic reds on this. It's slightly different from his original comic suit. The Across the Spider-Verse suit is updated a bit. He's got a lot of kind of glyph iconography kind of stuff, pattern work going on along the kind of bulk of the blue on his suit, which is new and not really seen in other versions of the Spider-Man 2099. We've seen different versions of this suit and different modern takes of it, which brings to mind, I think it was a Prime 1 statue of Spider-Man 2099, which I think looks absolutely stunning. And also, I think it was the Hot Toys of Spider-Man 2099, which I think also looked really good. That's probably the one I'm talking about, but that looked really good. So this is very, very different even from that, but you can still tell it's Spider-Man 2099, and I'm very excited for this one. There's no release date yet for this. I'm just going to assume this will probably come out this year, and it will probably end up being similar price, maybe slightly more than Miles and Gwen, because he's slightly a bit bigger of a figure. Going back to Android 20, I think that looks really good on display as well. I think that's really a long time for that one to not have come out, right? I think it's overdue for Android 20, kind of a pivotal character for Dragon Ball Z. So they kind of delay a lot of these kind of pivotal characters a lot. I probably will get it. I'm not a huge fan of Android 20, but I do think it looks quite good. We'll see if I will get it or not. Definitely Spider-Man 2099, but unknown yet if I'll pick up Android 20. So like I said, there are a lot of Bandai Tamashii Nation stuff to talk about, but I'm going to leave it at that for the time being. And we're going to switch gears now. We're going to talk about Storm collectibles, which I don't collect so much of. I have covered the Street Fighter 2 or Ultra Street Fighter 2 of Sagat, and that was a really fine looking sculpt. Oversized figure, not really my kind of thing. But now we've got Soul Calibur. I've known they've been doing Soul Calibur for a while. They announced it a long time ago that they're going to be doing Tekken and Soul Calibur and King of Fighters and so on. But they hadn't shown anything for Soul Calibur until Mitsurugi was announced a couple of weeks ago, and now Taki as well. So they're based on their Soul Calibur 6 looks. Now, to be quite honest with you, I most likely, like 99%, probably won't get these because as far as Mitsurugi goes, I don't like that face sculpt or head sculpt. I think it looks really lame, to be quite honest. I don't like it. I think the armor looks great for Mitsurugi. That's pretty on point. Taki looks much better. I think she looks a lot better, but I'm still not really feeling it overall as a figure. I think it's a good effort, but yeah, Storm collectibles for me, they just don't really kind of scratch that itch for me. But as a big Soul Calibur fan, or at least Soul Calibur 1, which is still one of my favorite games of all time, not my actual favorite game, but definitely up there. I really love that game.
The legend will never die.
I really would love to see maybe, I don't know, maybe SHF, maybe Figma tackle the Soul Calibur IP. Storm's not really doing it for me right now. But again, I applaud the effort, but it's not for me. But definitely something I wanted to kind of talk about because it's interesting. And I know there are fans of Storm collectibles out there. So yeah, Soul Calibur is getting the Storm collectibles treatment. Who knows, maybe in the future we'll see other brands like Mafex, SHF, or Figma, or even Rebeltech take on Soul Calibur. Hopefully, I would like to see more Soul Calibur figures for sure. Switching gears again, let's talk about some Nendoroids, and this time it's going to be of Apollo Justice and Maya Fey, or Mia Fey. God, I always confuse Maya and Mia. But we're getting new Nendoroids from the Phoenix Wright series, or the Ace Attorney series, which is great. You can check out my videos for Miles Edgeworth and Phoenix Wright themselves. Those were adorable looking Nendoroids. Really came out really well. So the Apollo Justice one looks pretty awesome as well, and it looks just as adorable. And I'm sure it will go with Miles and, of course, Phoenix Wright perfectly. Of course, now that they've got this, I feel like they need to release Phoenix Wright again in his updated suit, and also maybe in that kind of bum look of Phoenix Wright as well. I would love to see bum Phoenix Wright as an Nendoroid. I think that would look really good. So yeah, this guy looks very cute, very adorable. He comes with quite a few dissimilar accessories. So you got the kind of podium bit, you got the Igiari kind of objection sort of text pieces as well. And that's really kind of it. I think, yeah, he's got his bracelet on. This is already pre-attached. So nothing too different from him in terms of accessories compared to Miles and Phoenix Wright. And then you got Maya Fey, who's going to be the first female Nendoroid from this series. And she looks absolutely adorable, super adorable. She's got that same iconic look, but now, of course, in Nendoroid form. You got the little kind of pigtails, I guess, should we call them pigtails, with the little beads at the end of them. She's got the little talisman chain or pendant around her neck as well. It looks great. And then her outfit looks really on point as well. Accessory wise, she comes with that kind of wall scroll type of thing. Did I say wall scroll? But some scroll text. And then she's also got her witness stand rather than the actual prosecutor defense attorney stand type of thing. So bit different. So she's the first one of this type. So it'd be interesting to see what other characters of Phoenix Wright get the Nendoroid treatment down the road. I would love to see Godot personally. That would be a really good one to see. But I'm sure everyone has their own kind of fan favorite characters that they'd love to see turned into Nendoroids. And to end this video, let's talk about the Iconiq Studios Ken Masters figure based on Street Fighter V. If you haven't seen my Ryu unboxing, take a look. It was a damn good figure. I don't always do 1/6 scale, but that turned out to be an amazing, fantastic figure. And for a lot of people who collect 1/6 scale, it ended up being pretty much their figure of 2022. And then because it was a very late 2022 release, potentially their figure of 2023, or at least the early part of 2023. It really was a phenomenal, a phenomenal figure. But now we've got Ken. He's going to be in his classic outfit rather than his Street Fighter V outfit. To me, personally, because they were doing Street Fighter V specifically, they really should have gone with his Street Fighter V look. I know there's going to be some people that always go on and on about his top knot. Personally, top knot as a hairstyle, I got no issues with it. It was purely down to the in-game rendering of the hair. That wasn't just exclusive to Ken. Other characters had terrible rendering of their hair as well. The actual style of Ken, if you see the kind of other CG renders of Street Fighter V in his Street Fighter V outfit, he looks absolutely fine. His face also looks better as well than his in-game render. So there's a little bit of inconsistencies with Ken. But to be fair, it's Ken. Inconsistencies with his face being handsome or ugly has been a thing since like Street Fighter 2, you might say, actually, as well. So he hasn't looked super handsome always. To me, peak Ken was always Street Fighter Alpha and Street Fighter 3. That's when Ken looked his most handsome. And even now in Street Fighter 6, honestly, Ken doesn't look that handsome. Like, he looks like a bum, sure, but he doesn't look like a handsome bum. His concept art does, but in-game render for Street Fighter 6, I don't think he looks that good. But that's my opinion. Regardless, going back to the figure, it looks like it's using very similar, if not the same kind of body that the Ryu figure had. Makes sense. Is cloning it, it's fine. They do that in the games as well, but yeah, probably saves money a bit. Again, he's now in his classic red gi outfit. For most people will be familiar with that. He's got the classic gloves on as well, which I love. Those are my favorite types of gloves for the Shoto fighters in Street Fighter. I prefer those than the kind of Street Fighter 4 look that Ryu was wearing. That's really good. And then he's also got the kind of clean edges on his gi versus the kind of torn edges that Ryu has. It's kind of what you expect with Ken. He's always a bit more cleaner. And then importantly, you've got two different head sculpts or hair sculpts for Ken. You've got the short hair version, a He-Man kind of look, and then you've got his long hair version, a bit more like his Alpha look. Personally, I like the fact that they did that. That's great. It's appreciated that they did that. But I'm not hugely sold on his actual face sculpt. That's the bit that I'm kind of... I think it's growing on me now that I've seen the figure a little bit. So I haven't even pre-ordered it yet because I just wasn't sure. But it's growing on me a bit. I think I will ultimately get it though, because you get Ryu, you kind of have to have Ken. You get a Goku, you kind of need a Vegeta. You need to have both, right? The yin and the yang type of thing. You need to have both of them, in my opinion. So yes, I probably will pre-order this. You can pre-order this still from many places out there. It goes for just under $300 US, so it is quite expensive, quite similar to what the Ryu figure costed. Remember, this is 1/6 scale. It's got a whole kind of TB League collaborated body, so TB League make these sort of silicone bodies, and it's unique to Street Fighter. They don't make these bodies separately, so it's complete custom body as well for this Street Fighter line of figures. So there's a lot of kind of special work going on to this one. So for me, I can see why it's costing so much. For others, they're probably saying it's too expensive. But yeah, I think the way that the Ryu one came out, that was a really bloody good figure. So I'm expecting this to be maybe not as good, because again, I'm not sold on the head sculpt or the face sculpt, but I'm sure I'll enjoy it. And yeah, I think pairing them up, it's going to look great together. So the Ken actually comes out at the end of 2023, so there's a long time to kind of save up for it as well. And that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. To be honest, there were so many different things happening in the last couple of weeks. New pre-orders galore, not just from big players as well, but also kind of like independent people from China as well that make some amazing like Gundam sort of spin-off figures as well. But I just can't cover everything. But this just makes things very clear. I need to either get rich, because these figures are so awesome and so expensive, and sell some stuff, because I'm running out of space. There's just so many good things to look forward to this year, and I'm sure some of the stuff is going to be amazing next year as well. I mean, we're already in May, so there's just tons to look forward to. Let me know what you're looking forward to down in the comments below, and anything that you've had to deprioritize and basically had to cut out because you either can't really afford it, it's not sustainable, or you just don't have the space, or time even as well, because there's just so many other things to do in the world as well, that all these amazingly cool, fun-looking action figures, I wish I had the time and money to enjoy them all, but I just physically can't enjoy them all, sadly. But yeah, let's see what happens the remainder of the year. Like I said, my mind can change. Sometimes I will say no to one thing in the beginning, and then I change my mind. But we'll see how I hold up with this way. Temptation can get the best of me sometimes, I'm not going to lie. But let's see what happens for the remainder of 2023. See you next time.